The night was quiet, too quiet. A small town slept under the silver light of the moon. The streets were empty, the windows dark, and the only sound was the whisper of the wind through the trees. But then the silence was broken. A flash tore across the sky like a burning wound, red and white, sharp against the black heavens. It was not a shooting star. It moved too fast, too close, too alive. The ground shook as the object crashed into the forest on the edge of town, sending birds flying in panic. The air trembled with the echo of impact, and then, once more, silence. Inside the forest, smoke rose between the trees, thick and bitter. The wreck of a strange craft lay broken, its surface glowing faintly, as if alive. The shape was not like any plane, not like any rocket. It was curved and twisted, full of strange marks that no human hand had ever made. The metal hissed, cooling, bleeding sparks into the soil. From the wreck, a sound came, soft at first, then louder, a cry. Not mechanical, not human, something else. A man stood at the edge of the woods, drawn by the crash. He was an ordinary human, tired from his day, curious but afraid. His feet moved before his mind could stop him, carrying him toward the wreck. The smell of burnt air filled his lungs. Every instinct told him to turn back, to run, but his eyes refused to look away. Something inside him whispered that history was waiting in those shadows. The wreck shifted, a panel cracked open. A hand appeared, but not a hand. It was long, thin, pale with too many joints, glowing faintly under the moonlight. It gripped the edge, pulling, trembling, and then the creature came out. It was small, smaller than the human expected. Its body thin, fragile, like it could break with one strong wind. Its skin shimmered faintly, not white, not gray, but something between. Its eyes were wide, black and endless, staring with fear. Its chest rose and fell too quickly, every breath sharp and desperate. It stumbled, fell to its knees, then looked up, and in a trembling voice, it spoke. "Please, human, stop looking at me like that." The words froze the man in place. His mind spun, trying to understand. An alien, here, speaking his language, begging. But why beg? Why fear? Humans should be the ones afraid, not this creature from stars. The alien's hands covered its face as if hiding from the human's eyes. It shook its head, muttering in a low voice. Not again, not again. Please, I cannot, I will not." The man took a step closer, slowly, carefully. His heart pounded, sweat cold on his back. The alien flinched at the movement, crawling backward until its back hit the smoking wreck. It gasped like a cornered animal. The man whispered, almost himself, "I won't hurt you." But the alien shook its head. "You don't understand. You never understand." The forest seemed to close in around them, heavy with shadows and smoke. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked, then went silent. The man felt the air grow colder, heavier. Something else was coming, something watching. The alien looked at him again, its black eyes full of terror. "Please, human, listen to me. They are coming. They will find me. They will find you too." Its voice cracked, breaking with fear. The man felt his throat dry, his mind fighting between disbelief and the truth his eyes showed him. This was no dream, no story. It was real. And if the alien was right, danger was already on its way. The wreck hissed. Another panel collapsed, sparks lighting the ground. The alien screamed, covering its ears as if the sound itself was pain. The man stepped back, his breath fast, his hands shaking. The alien's voice echoed through the night. "They will not stop. Please, human, don't let them see me. Don't let them take me back." And in that moment, the man understood. The creature was not here to conquer, not here to kill. It was running, hiding, desperate. Something hunted it. And now, standing there in the forest, he realized he was no longer just a witness. He was part of the hunt. The night, once quiet, now felt alive with whispers. Every branch, every leaf seemed to hide a shadow. The man's heart told him to run, but his feet stayed planted. The alien trembled, its voice soft. "Please, human, Stop looking at me like that. And in those words, in that trembling plea, the man felt something new. Not fear of the alien, but fear of what hunted it. Something worse than any human imagination. Something that might already be here, hiding in the darkness, watching them both. The forest grew still, too still. The man looked at the alien looked back. Two beings from different worlds, joined in the same fear. And above them, in the endless sky, another flash of light appeared. Not a star, not a plane. Something else, something searching. The hook was set, and the night was only beginning. The alien's chest rose and fell quickly, every breath sharp like broken glass. Its thin arms wrapped around its body, as if holding itself together. The human stepped closer, but the creature recoiled, pressing its back against the smoking wreck. Its wide black eyes shone with wet light, full of fear, full of secrets. "Stay back," the alien whispered, its voice trembling. The human froze, lifting his hands slowly to show he carried no weapon. "I won't hurt you," he said again, his voice calm, careful. But the alien only shook its head. "You don't understand what you are doing. You don't understand what I am." The smoke thickened, curling through the trees. The crash had burned the forest floor, glowing embers shining like angry eyes. The human felt sweat trickle down his temple. The air was heavy, filled with heat and silence. Only the alien's uneven breathing broke the stillness. The creature's gaze darted between the shadows. Every rustle of leaves made it flinch. Every whisper of wind made it shiver. It looked less like a conqueror from the stars, and more like a frightened child. The human found his fear fading, replaced by a strange, unexpected pity. "Why are you so afraid?" the human asked softly. The alien's lips parted, but no words came. It pressed its hands tighter to its chest. Finally, in a voice barely audible, it said, "Because they are near, because they are always near." The human frowned, confused. "They? Who is they?" The alien shook its head, eyes wide with horror. "Not your kind, not Earth's kind mind." The words chilled the human. The idea that there were more, stronger, closer. The alien hunched forward, trembling as if remembering something too painful. "They hurt, they take, they destroy," it whispered. "I ran. I escaped, but they will not forgive." The human took a slow step forward, ignoring the trembling in his own legs. "Then you are not here to fight us," he said. The alien's eyes flicked to him, sharp and full of despair. "Fight you? No, I ran to you, because you're the only ones they fear." The words struck the human like thunder. Why would beings that traveled the stars fear humans? He opened his mouth, but before he could speak, the alien's body shook with a violent cough. A thin, glowing liquid spilled from its mouth, falling on the soil and burning it black. The human gasped, horrified. The alien wiped its mouth with the back of its hand, muttering, "I am broken. I cannot last long, but I had to try." The man crouched down slowly, his knees pressing into the dirt. He looked into the creature's eyes, trying to show no anger, only calm. "If you need help, I can get you to someone," he whispered. But the alien cried out suddenly, shaking its head. "No, not your leaders, not your armies. Please, human, do not show me to them." Its voice cracked, desperate. "They will see me as weapon, as tool, not as prisoner, not as victim." The human's throat tightened. It was true, he realized. If the government or the military found this being, they would lock it away, cut it open, use it for power. He felt sick at the thought. But then another thought crept in. If the alien was telling the truth, then Earth was already in danger. Was hiding it the right choice, or the worst one? The alien curled in on itself, rocking back and forth. It whispered in broken words, as if speaking to ghosts only it could see. They come, always hunting, never stopping, always watching." The human reached out slowly, his hand hovering above its trembling shoulder. For a moment he thought to touch, to comfort. But before his fingers could land, the alien hissed, jerking away like a wounded animal. "Do not," it cried. Your eyes Your hands, they look at me like them, like hunters, like masters." The words pierced the human deeper than he expected. He pulled his hand back, ashamed, unsure. The alien stared at him, breathing heavy. "Please, human," it said again, softer now. "Stop looking at me like that." The human lowered his gaze, staring at the blackened earth. Above, the smoke thinned, letting the cold moonlight touch them both. But the light brought no comfort. It only revealed how small the alien was, how fragile. And yet, within that fragility, there was something terrifying, not in the alien itself, but in the truth it carried. The human whispered, almost to himself, "If they are coming, then what chance do we have?" The alien's lips trembled. "You have something they cannot break," it whispered back. The human looked at it sharply, confused. The alien's voice shook as it continued. "You have each other." A branch cracked in the distance, loud, sharp. Both the human and alien turned their heads at once. The alien's body went stiff, its eyes filling with dread. "They found me," it whispered, its voice breaking. No, not so soon." The human's heart raced. He stared into the forest, into the dark between the trees. The night seemed to breathe, alive with hidden movement. And for the first time, the man wondered if his choice was already made. He could not hand this creature over. Not to his kind, not to its kind. The alien was not a monster. The monsters were still coming. The night pressed heavier now, the silence no longer natural. The human stood frozen, torn between choices that weighed like chains. Before him, the alien crouched in the dirt, shaking, whispering words of fear. Behind them, the forest rustled as if unseen eyes waited, as if unseen hands reached. The man knew one thing for certain. He could not stand here forever. Either he would call someone, bring help, bring soldiers, or he would stay quiet. Either he would protect this creature, or he would betray it. And both choices could destroy him, destroy everyone. The alien lifted its head, black eyes gleaming in the moonlight. "You are thinking of your kind," it said weakly, as if it could read the man's heart. "You wonder if they should know, if they should take me." The human said nothing, but his silence was answer enough. The alien shook its head slowly, bitterly. "They will cage me. Human, they will cut me. And in doing so, they will paint a target on this world." The human's breath caught. He thought of his town, his people, his family asleep in their beds. If he chose wrong, the danger would not stop at him. It would spread like fire. His phone was in his pocket, a single call away from the police, from the army. But the alien's words echoed, sharp and haunting. "They will see me as weapon, as tool." The alien leaned closer, its body trembling, but its voice firm. "If you hide me, they may live for a while. If you expose me, they will die sooner." The human's hands shook. How could he trust a being from another world? A being he had just met? And yet, every word it spoke rang with a truth his bones felt. The fear in its eyes was not fake. It was ancient, real. Something hunted it, something powerful, something cruel. The man closed his eyes, hearing the whisper of the forest, the sound of branches swaying, the sound of his own heartbeat pounding in his ears. He tried to imagine the faces of soldiers finding this being, dragging it away. He tried to imagine the faces of hunters descending from the sky, finding earth wide open. Neither vision gave him peace. Both were nightmares waiting to bloom. The alien whispered again, softer now, almost pleading, "You must decide, human, not tomorrow, not later now." Its thin fingers clawed the dirt, as if holding onto the world itself. "Do not think this night belongs to you. It belongs to them. And they are closer with every breath you waste." The man's throat tightened, his chest heavy. His choice was not between safety and danger. It was between one kind of danger and another. The alien's words replayed in his mind. "They fear you. They fear humans." But why? Why would creatures strong enough to cross galaxies fear mankind? Unless there was something hidden in humanity, something even humans did not understand. The man opened his eyes and looked at the alien. It stared back at him, fragile, but unblinking. "You want me to trust you?" the man whispered. The alien nodded slowly. "Not me," it said, voice shaking. "Trust yourself. Trust your people, because the war is not against me. It is against what you can become." The words struck like lightning. The human had never thought of himself as powerful, only ordinary. But now, under the weight of alien eyes and alien fear, he felt something awaken. Not pride, not hope, but responsibility. As if all of humanity leaned on his choice on this single night. His hand moved toward his phone, then stopped. He let out a long breath, pressing it back into his pocket. "No soldiers," he muttered, more to himself than the alien. The alien exhaled, a sound between relief and sorrow. "Then you have chosen," it whispered, but the human was not sure. Was this choice courage, or was it doom? The forest rustled again, louder this time. The alien's head snapped toward the sound, its body stiff. "They are near," it said, panic rising. The human clenched his fists, feeling fear crawl like ice through his veins. There was no going back now, no middle path. He had chosen, and the hunters would come whether he was ready or not. He looked at the alien again, its body shaking, its eyes shining. "What do I do now?" he asked. The alien's lips trembled. "You hide, you run, and when the time comes, you fight." The man swallowed hard, his body trembling. He had never fought anything beyond daily life, beyond human troubles. Now he was asked to stand against shadows from the stars. He did not know if he was strong enough, but he did know this. He would not betray the creature that begged him with such fear. And in that silent vow, he found a strange strength. The alien whispered once more, "They will test you, human. They will break you if you let them. They will test you, human. They will break you if you let them." It leaned forward, its voice low, urgent. "But remember this, they are not afraid of your weapons. They are afraid of your will." The words sank deep. The human nodded slowly, his jaw set. For the first time that night, he did not feel like prey. He felt like something else, something rising. The decision was made, and far above the trees, in the endless dark sky, unseen lights shifted, circling, closing in. The forest was no longer quiet. The trees groaned under the weight of the wind. The leaves rattled like warning bells. The man felt it in his chest, a pressure that told him he was no longer alone. The alien pressed its trembling hands against the dirt, its voice breaking into a whisper. "They are here." The human's throat tightened. "What do you mean here?" he asked, his voice low, urgent. The alien's eyes darted toward the sky. Shadows moved across the moonlight, strange lights weaving silently above the treetops. "They found me," the alien gasped. "They will not leave without me, and now they will see you too." The man's heart raced. He grabbed the alien's thin arm, pulling it to its feet. "Then we move," he said, his voice sharp. The alien stumbled, weak but obedient, its legs trembling under its fragile body. Together they ran, their footsteps cracking dry branches, their breath loud in the heavy night. The forest stretched before them, endless. Every shadow felt alive, every sound too close. Behind them, the hum of energy echoed, low and deep, like the growl of a predator. The human glanced back and saw faint beams of light sweeping between the trees. Cold, sharp, searching. He cursed under his breath and pulled the alien faster. Branches clawed at his face, roots tried to trip his feet. Still, he pushed forward, dragging the alien with him. The creature's breaths came short and painful, glowing liquid dripping from its lips as it coughed. The man tightened his grip, refusing to let it fall. "You can't stop now," he hissed. The alien's voice cracked. "They will catch us. They always do." But the human did not listen. He cannot. The thought of surrender, of handing the creature over, burned in his chest. Not because he trusted it fully, not because he understood it, but because of the way it begged, the way its eyes screamed for mercy. He would not let those hunters take it. Not tonight. They burst out into a clearing, the moon casting silver light across the open ground. The man froze, his chest heavy. The clearing was too wide, too open. If they ran through it, they would be seen. If they stayed, they would be found. The alien clutched his sleeve, trembling. "Choose, human, choose," it whispered. The man scanned the edges of the clearing, his eyes catching a fallen log near the far side. "Stay low," he said, pulling the alien with him. They crawled across the grass, hearts pounding with every second. The alien's thin body shook violently, its breath ragged. The man wanted to carry it, but feared the noise. So he dragged it slowly, painfully toward cover. Then the lights descended. A beam swept over the clearing, so bright it turned night into day. The man froze, pressing the alien flat against the earth. The beam lingered, moving left, moving right. The air itself hummed with strange energy. The alien's body stiffened, its skin glowing faintly under the light. "They know, they smell me," it whispered in terror. The man clenched his teeth. He wrapped his arms around the alien, shielding it with his own body. He whispered, "Stay still," though his voice shook. The beam lingered a moment longer, then moved on, sliding back into the trees. The forest swallowed the light, leaving darkness once more. The alien exhaled a broken sob. "They will not stop. They will search until dawn." The man pulled it to its feet again. "We keep moving," he said, his voice harder now, more determined. The alien staggered, barely standing, but the man half carried it. Every step felt like stolen time, every breath borrowed. Behind them, the hum returned, closer, sharper. The hunters were circling. They were being driven, like prey, through a maze. The human's mind raced. He had no weapons, no plan, only the fire of refusal. He would not let them take the alien, not because he believed in destiny, not because he believed in trust, but because deep inside, he knew if they caught it, humanity would never see another dawn. The alien clutched his arm tightly. "Why do you help me?" it whispered between gasps. The man's jaw tightened. "Because you asked me to stop looking at you like a monster," he said, and I listened. The alien's eyes widened, shining with both fear and something else. Perhaps hope, perhaps sorrow. It nodded weakly, its voice soft. "Then they will fear you too, as they fear me." Another beam of light cut through the trees, closer than before. The forest roared with sound, as if machines hidden in the shadows awakened. The ground shook under heavy footsteps. The man's pulse thundered in his ears. He dragged the alien toward a ridge, pulling it down a slope into thicker cover. Branches whipped his arms, rocks cut his knees, but he did not stop. The alien cried out, pained, but he silenced it with a sharp whisper. "Quiet, they'll hear." At the bottom of the slope, they collapsed against a fallen trunk. The man pressed his back to the wood, holding the alien close. The forest above them glowed faintly with strange light, moving shapes tall and unearthly. The hunters had arrived. The alien buried its face against the man's shoulder, trembling. "They will not stop until one of us is gone," it whispered. The man stared into the dark, sweat running down his face. He knew then that running could not last forever. Soon, they would be cornered. Soon, the hunters would force his hand. And when that moment came, he would have to fight, not for himself, not even for the alien, but for every soul sleeping in his town, unaware of the shadows closing in. The chase had begun, and there was no turning back. The forest had gone too quiet. The human pressed his back against the fallen trunk, his breath shallow, his arms wrapped around the trembling alien. Above them, the strange lights drifted through the trees, moving slowly, searching. The hunters did not hurry. They did not need to. They knew their prey could not run forever. The man looked at the alien, its fragile frame glowing faintly in the moonlight. Its eyes were wide, haunted, as if it carried centuries of fear inside. He whispered, "Tell me, why are they hunting you? What do they want?" For a moment, the alien did not answer, its lips pressed tight as if holding back poison. But then its voice broke, low and hollow. "You deserve to know," it whispered. "You deserve to fear them too." The human leaned closer, listening. The alien shivered, its thin fingers clawing the dirt, as if each word dragged pain from its body. "My kind is not like yours," it said slowly. "We do not build homes. We do not raise children. We take." Its voice cracked, trembling. "We roam from world to world, burning them, enslaving them, feeding on the weak until nothing is left." The man's chest tightened. He had imagined monsters, but not this. The alien's body curled smaller, its voice shaking. "I was born weak, broken. They saw no use for me. They should have ended me, but they did not. Instead, they made me watch. I saw them chain entire cities. I saw them tear families apart. I saw them crush hope again and again." The man swallowed hard, images filling his mind. He imagined Earth like that, its cities silent, its skies filled with burning ships. His hands clenched into fists, his throat dry. The alien's eyes flicked up to him, black pools filled with grief. "One day, I could not bear it anymore," it whispered. "I escaped. I stole a craft and I ran. They called me traitor. They marked me prey. And now they hunt me. Not because I am strong, but because I ran and because I saw something they fear." The man frowned, leaning closer. "What could they possibly fear?" he asked. The alien's lips trembled. "You," it whispered. "They fear humans." The human froze, the word echoing in his mind. "Fear humans? But why?" The alien's voice grew softer, almost reverent. "Your kind is small compared to them, fragile compared to them, but you're different. You fight not because you're the strongest, but because you refuse to stop. You create hope where none should exist. Hope is the one thing they cannot kill." The human stared at it, his chest heavy with the weight of the words. He wanted to deny it, to call it madness, but deep inside he felt something stir. A memory of history lessons, of battles fought against impossible odds, of humans rising again and again when the world thought they were broken. Could that be why these hunters circled Earth, not with invasion, but with fear? The alien leaned forward, its black eyes locking with his. "I came to you because I saw it. I saw kindness in a human once, long ago. It was in the eyes of a prisoner, captured, helpless. But even in chains, the human glared with defiance. It burned me, it haunted me, and I knew then, if ever my kind faced something that could end them, it would be you." The man felt his breath catch. He wanted to look away, but the alien's gaze held him. He thought of his family again, of their small house in the sleeping town. Would they ever believe that somewhere, in the stars, creatures feared not their weapons, but their will? The alien sagged back against the log, weak, exhausted. "They hunt me because I chose you," it whispered. "They hunt me because I dare to hope in you." The man's throat ached, his fists tightening. He had not asked for this, had not wanted this. He was only one man, ordinary, fragile. Yet now, the fate of more than just himself seemed to weigh on his shoulders. The alien's eyes dimmed, its body trembling. "If they catch me, they will silence me. If they silence me, they will silence the warning, and your world will fall before it even knows it is under attack." The man reached out, this time steady. He placed his hand gently on the alien's shoulder. The creature flinched, but did not pull away. Its body was cold, fragile, trembling. But under his hand, he felt something else. A spark, a fragile thread of trust. "We won't let them," the man whispered. The alien looked at him, its eyes wet, shining. "You speak as if you are not afraid," it said. The man let out a shaky breath. "I am afraid," he admitted, "but fear doesn't matter if we keep moving." Above them, the lights shifted, beams slicing through the forest again. Shadows stretched long and sharp. The alien's voice trembled. "Then run, human, because truth alone will not save us. The hunters are close, and they will not stop until one of us is dead." The man tightened his grip on the alien, pulling it closer. His heart thundered, his legs ready to move. The truth had been revealed, but the chase was not over. It had only just begun. The night no longer belonged to the forest. It belonged to the hunters, Their shadows stretched between the trees, tall and merciless, their lights cutting the dark like blades. The human crouched low, his arm around the alien, both pressed against the rough bark of a fallen tree. The air hummed with unnatural energy. Every heartbeat felt stolen, every second closer to discovery. The alien's black eyes locked on his, trembling. "They are too many," it whispered. "They will find us, no matter where we hide." The human clenched his jaw, his fear a heavy knot inside. But under the fear burned something else, a spark of defiance. He leaned close, his voice steady though his hands shook. "Then we don't hide," he whispered. The alien flinched, confusion flashing across its fragile face. "You cannot fight them," it hissed. "They will break you like they broke worlds before." The human shook his head. "Maybe they can break one man, but not before I try." The alien's lips trembled, its voice a faint cry. "You would risk yourself for me?" The human's gaze hardened. "No, I risk myself for everyone they will come for if they take you back." The alien lowered its head, silent. For the first time that night, something flickered in its eyes, not just fear but respect. The hunter's hum grew louder, closer. The ground shook under their steps. The human scanned the clearing ahead, his mind racing. He had no weapons, no armor, no plan. But he had the land, the night, and the will to turn them into something more. He pulled the alien to its feet, dragging it toward a ridge of rocks. There, scattered across the ground, lay broken branches, loose stones, and the sharp remains of the wreck. The human's mind sparked with desperate invention. He piled branches together, covering them with jagged shards of metal. He whispered, "When they step here, it won't kill them, but it will slow them." The alien watched, wide-eyed, its thin body shaking. "This will not be enough," it whispered. The man's lips curled into a thin smile. "It doesn't have to be enough. It just has to give us a chance." Above them, the beams of light cut deeper through the trees. Shadows moved, tall figures, their forms sharp, their eyes glowing faint red. The alien shivered, curling in on itself. "They are here," it breathed. The human pressed the creature behind a rock, whispering, "Stay down, no matter what." And then the hunters entered the clearing. Their footsteps thundered, their presence crushing. They stood taller than any man, their skin like black armor, their weapons pulsing with energy. Their voices were low, guttural, vibrating in the air. The alien pressed its hands to its ears, trembling. "They speak of me," it whispered. "They call me traitor." One hunter stepped forward, scanning the ground with eyes that glowed like fire. Its gaze swept the rocks, the branches, the broken wreckage. The human's chest tightened, his hand gripping a stone, so hard his fingers bled. Every instinct screamed at him to run. But instead, he waited, still as the trees. The lead hunter raised its weapon. The ground hissed as its energy hummed. The human acted. With a sharp cry, he hurled the stone into the branches. The hunter spun toward the sound, stepping into the trap. The branches snapped, the metal shards cut. The creatures staggered, their steps faltering. The man grabbed the alien and pulled it deeper into the rocks. But the lead hunter roared, its voice shaking the air. It raised its weapon, firing a beam of white-hot light. The ground exploded where they had stood seconds before. The alien cried out, clutching its head. "They will not stop," it screamed. "They will burn this whole forest to ash." The man pulled it close, his eyes fierce. "Then let's make them afraid," he said. The hunters closed in, weapons glowing brighter. The human's body trembled, but he stood, placing himself between the alien and the creatures. He had no weapon, no shield, only his voice. "Come for me," he shouted. "Leave it alone. You want to see what humans are? Look at me." The hunters paused, their red eyes fixing on him. For a moment, the forest fell silent. Then, one hunter lowered its weapon slightly, tilting its head. Its guttural voice rumbled. "This one defies." The alien gasped, its voice breaking. "They recognize you." The human's heart pounded, but he did not step back. He held his ground, trembling but unbroken. The hunters shifted, uncertain. The alien whispered, awe and terror in its voice. They do not understand why you stand, why you risk yourself. That is why they fear you. The lead hunter growled, stepping forward, weapon raised. The human braced himself, ready to face death. But before the beam fired, the alien cried out, "Stop!" Its voice rang with desperation. "If you take me, you win nothing. If you take him, you wake the fire of his people." The hunters hesitated, their red eyes flickering. The forest seemed to hold its breath. The human stood tall, his body shaking, but his will unbroken. The alien clutched his arm, its voice soft. "This is the showdown, human, and it is not decided by strength, but by who breaks first." The hunters growled, their voices like thunder. One raised its weapon again, light burning bright. The human closed his eyes, ready, and the night itself seemed to wait for the strike. The forest glowed with red light. The hunters stood in a circle, weapons humming, their eyes burning with cruel fire. The human's chest rose and fell, heavy but steady. He stood tall, though his legs shook, shielding the alien with his body. Every second stretched, sharp and endless. The lead hunter raised its weapon, the beam swelling with deadly light. The human's breath slowed, his fists clenched. He whispered to himself, "If this is the end, let it mean something." The alien clutched his arm, its voice cracking. "No, not like this." And then the forest roared. A surge of energy burst from the wreck, sparks leaping into the air. The hunters turned their heads, distracted, their formation breaking. The human saw his chance. He grabbed the alien's trembling hand, pulling it behind a ridge of stone. The hunters fired, beams tearing the earth, trees exploding into fire. But the man kept moving, dragging the alien through smoke and ash. The ground shook as one hunter leapt forward, landing with the force of thunder. It towered above him, its eyes burning, its weapon aimed down. The man threw himself in front of the alien, his arms wide. "Then do it," he shouted, his voice raw. "Kill me if you must, but you will never break all of us." The hunter froze, its weapon trembling. Its red eyes narrowed, but something flickered in them, confusion, hesitation. The alien gasped, whispering, "They do not understand you, human. They do not understand sacrifice." Another hunter roared, firing at the rocks. The blast shook the ground, hurling the human and alien to the dirt. The alien cried out, curling into itself. The human pulled himself up, coughing blood. His vision blurred, but he forced himself to stand again. "You'll have to burn the whole planet to stop us," he spat, "because if you leave even one alive, one will fight." The hunters growled, their guttural voices shaking the trees. The lead hunter lowered its weapon slightly. Its voice was like iron scraping stone. "This world is dangerous," it said. "Too dangerous." The alien's eyes widened, its voice breaking. "They see it. They admit it." The human's heart hammered, sweat stinging his eyes. "What does that mean?" he asked. The alien trembled. "It means they will not conquer you yet. They will wait. They will watch. But they will remember this night." The hunters began to step back, their lights dimming. The lead hunter stared at the human one last time. Its voice rolled like thunder. "You are not ready, but one day you will be, and on that day the stars will burn." Then, in a blaze of red light, they were gone. The forest fell silent, only smoke and ash left behind. The man staggered, his chest heavy, his knees weak. The alien lay trembling on the ground, its body glowing faintly. It whispered, "You do not understand what you have done, human." The man dropped beside it, his breath ragged. "Then tell me," he demanded. The alien's lips trembled, its voice soft as falling rain. "You showed them fear. Not fear of me, not fear of my kind. Fear of you." The human's brow furrowed. "I'm just one man," he said. The alien shook its head. "No, you are one human, and that is what they cannot kill. One becomes two, two becomes many, and soon you are a fire they cannot put out." The man sat in silence, the words sinking deep. He thought his town, his people, his world, so small compared to the endless dark above, and yet, somehow, more dangerous than the hunters who had ruled the stars. The alien's eyes filled with tears, its body shivering. It whispered again, the same words that haunted the night. "Please, human, stop looking at me like that." But this time, its voice was softer, almost pleading in a different way. Not afraid of him, but afraid of what his eyes might mean. The man looked away, staring into the smoke and shadows. He did not know what future waited, only that Earth was no longer invisible. The hunters had seen him, had seen humanity, and they would come again. The alien coughed, its glow dimming. It whispered, "I may not live to see that day, but you must be ready." The man nodded slowly, his jaw set. "I'll be ready," he said. "Not just me, all of us." The forest creaked, the fire fading, the night slowly reclaiming itself. The human sat in the ashes, the alien weak at his side. Both broken, both alive. But something greater had been born between them. A truth that echoed louder than any battle. The hunters had not taken the alien, but they had taken something else. The certainty that humans were harmless. The stars would remember, and one day they would return. But when they did, they would not face one man alone. They would face humanity. And this time, humanity would be ready.